Peace. I'm making this video called Elijah Muhammad Gave Howard University Black Studies. Now I'm coming out with this video to give further evidence and further proof that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad started black consciousness in America. Because we have a lot of these new school cats who coming out trying to criticize the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But before the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there was no such thing as black consciousness. Now let's look at it. Because there's so much that I want to say in this video that I'm probably going to have to break this up into two parts. Because there's so much information dealing with this subject and this topic. But let's start with Howard University. Let's look at this so-called historically black college that was founded in 1867. This so-called historically black college was founded in 1867 without a black studies program. Because these so-called historically black colleges were founded by crackers in the Freedmen's Bureau. And Howard University was founded by a general in the Freedmen's Bureau named Oliver O. Howard. And all of these historically black colleges, just study the name. Like Spelman University is named after Rockefeller's wife. Her middle name was Spelman. And if you look at many of the names of the buildings on Spelman's campus, it's named after these devils. Then you can even go to Fisk University, was named after another cracker in the Freedmen's Bureau. All of these colleges, even though they are colleges, and I don't criticize them, but we must speak the truth on them. They was founded by crackers from the Freedmen's Bureau after slavery. And they was not designed to teach us the knowledge of self. You can even look at Tuskegee University that was supposedly founded by Booker T. Washington. And even this school didn't have a black studies program. But let's look at it. We want to see what inspired the students in 1968 in Howard University's campus 100 years after it was founded. What inspired them to want a black studies program? Now we first got to start with this documentary called Eyes on the Prize. Because these documentaries are made by these Uncle Tom Negroes who want integration. So what they do is they try to make it to seem like our consciousness in America started with the civil rights movement. And they want to give credit to everything that happened, or all the gains that happened for black people in America started with the civil rights movement. So in this documentary, they make it to seem like in 1968, the Howard University campus just started waking up because of the civil rights movement. But let's look at the actual facts. Let's look at what happened a year prior to 1968 on the Howard University campus. We see that Minister Muhammad Ali, because the devils never give the true history of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, when he was not boxing, was a minister for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Houston, Texas. And we see that Minister Muhammad Ali was pushing the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So in 1967, Minister Muhammad Ali went to Howard University pushing the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you can see pictures of Muhammad Ali holding up the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, and you also see him speaking with the message to the black man in his hand. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you just cannot get away from his effect and his teachings. But we don't want to stop there. We want to go further than that. Let's rewind all the way back to 1960. Because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad been on the scene waking up black people since 1931. But let's go to 1960. And let's see what the messenger was doing on these colleges and universities in 1960. We see a Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 1961, has the title, it says, Muslims Score at Southern Universities. And we see on this issue at the bottom on the right-hand side, it's a box. And in this box, it says, 1960, our greatest year in review. So this is giving the different or highlighting the different successes and accomplishments that happened for the Nation of Islam in 1960. And we see that it says students at Queens, Yale, and Southern colleges hear Muslims. So we see that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was sending his ministers to these colleges and universities. And we see that Malcolm X debated at Yale. Now, the true history of Malcolm X is also watered down by these Negroes, Uncle Toms, and all of these new school cats. They mostly focus on the history of Malcolm X after he left the nation, or the last few speeches that he made before he left. They never deal with his 12-year history while he was in the nation. Because Malcolm not only debated at Yale, he debated at Harvard, he debated at Berkeley in California, he debated at Boston University, he speaks at Michigan State in 1963, he debates Herman Blake in 1963, he has what they call the Great Debate with C. Eric Lincoln and James Baldwin, he debates Bayard Rustin. Malcolm has over 20 speeches from 1960, from March of 1960 to December of 1964. Malcolm has more than 20 speeches or debates, formal debates, but you never hear them because Malcolm X and the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, while he was the national representative, was busting heads with this science that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was dropping. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was dropping so much science that Savior's Day, he had the Nazi George Lincoln Rockwell come to Savior's Day and bear witness to the truth that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was dropping. So the question is to all these new school cats, where was all of these black Hebrews, these African spirituality people, and the rest of these people who criticize the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad today? Because we see that he is the one who stirred up these black college campuses to make them to want black studies on their colleges and universities. Because before the messenger, none of these colleges, these so-called historically black colleges, had a black studies program. And the black people who was going to these schools, there was no one to wake them up to the fact of how in the world can you be going to a black school without a black studies department on the whole campus. And you have a whole system of historically black colleges where you don't even have the teaching of the knowledge of self. And it is more that I want to say. But I'm going to come out with another video dropping some more science on the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and how he is solely responsible for black consciousness in America. But until next time, peace.